Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Morning, Jamie. Morning, Faisal. Morning, anyone who's lurking. How are you all? Oh, morning, Haley. Morning, peeps. How are we all doing? We're getting some of these bigger feathers now. How are we all doing? I have to say, my room that I'm drawing in is an absolute state because I actually do this at a desk in my bedroom, and we're expecting a new mattress today. So the old mattress has been hygienically sealed with that big bag that they always send you when you change your mattress, and has been hauled downstairs. But now all my bedding, all my pillows, all my cushions is all in little piles around the room waiting for the new mattress to arrive. And so I just feel like there's a mess, you know? Things aren't in the correct place and I don't like it. Mess bothers me. Mess and clutter bothers me at a level it doesn't seem to bother anyone else in this house. So I need a little. Let's darken this a little bit. We are listening to an 80s playlist. I need a little green. This colour here is really good for the Kingfisher. This is cobalt green. It really blends well with this blue. Thanks, Faisal. Right, your daily 2K is done. Perfect. Thank you. Add a little hint of green to this. It's just got a green glow. Just a very subtle hint of it. Why have I got a line there? There we go. Oh, you've done you've done yours. Excellent. What to say it anyway. Shine away. Take on me. 2 days done, 363 to go. Yeah, I may have set the points at too high. I do apologise. But you can't go in and edit it now once you've done it, and it's like, okay, we're just going to have to go with it at the minute, and then I'll set the points much lower for the next one. I promise, I promise, I promise. Take on me. Right, really nice bright bit just there. This white will just help blend and just sort of lift the colours to make it look like light is reflecting off. I love this song. I remember when it first came out, and everyone was like so amazed about like the music video because it was just so different, and I think everyone fell in love with it. It went to #1 really, really quickly. How many people would it take if they all done the 2K? Right, okay, so it says behind the scenes that if 50 people a day did the 2K, it would be done in a month. So it would take 30 days. Which is probably asking a little bit too much. Which I'm slightly worried about. But like I say, when you're setting it up, it sort of gives you these guidelines, and it always says, you know, don't do a really small number, go for a really high number, so that people really have to work for it. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe that's what you meant to do. And so like a numpty, I went with a really sort of high number. But I'll learn for next time. And like I say, I'm not allowed to go in and edit it, so you can't even delete it. Down the 7 seas, everybody's looking for something. Where's me black? Yeah, need a long time to finish it. But like I said, I'm learning. I wasn't too sure. I didn't know if you had limits to your points, how many you was allowed to put in each day. I didn't know if there was a maximum. I didn't know. Because like I say, I'm new to all this, so I wasn't quite sure. So when it said aim high, I thought, well, maybe people can put in as many points as they like each day. It wasn't until afterwards that you guys told me, I think you have a maximum, is it 2,000? You're only allowed to put in each day, so there we go. Oh, thank you for the follow, XDBVC. I mean, that rolls off the tongue. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to my little gallery. Thanks for joining us. Let's put some love in the chat and welcome XDBVC. There's ever such a fine line here. Oh, so many pencils on my desk already. Okay, so I need to get, let me see, just here. quite a little. Let me just map in those feathers where they're meant to be. Hang on. So I have this here. There's a little dark line that just sort of goes here. Got some very sort of very rounded feathers here that are only just showing. I'm just going to try and get those landmarks in. Oh, this is one of your favourite songs. Yeah, I really like it. I think it's got a real good sort of rhythm to it and always makes you want to sort of sing along when you hear it. Right, so there is a little. That one goes there, and then we have like a little line that goes along here. Just sort of up there in that direction. Okay. This is really bright blue. If I put the white down first, that might just help lift that blue. Acting on your best behavior. There's a bit here that comes down though, isn't there? So right, and then there's like a V of bright blue there. Everybody wants to rule the world. It's just trying to get that feather direction as well. Everybody wants. Actually, let's go in because these are just a little bit greener actually. Don't want to get around that blue. Sorry, just really trying to get the detail here, guys. And the tone and the colours. If I can get the colours, then the details should take care of themselves. Just a very dark green patch next to that bit. I need to sharpen this. Yeah. Right, let me just get this in my head. So if this goes around here, it goes up, and there is a section here. When the night falls, dance with somebody. Feathers are tricky. I saw another artist draw a kingfisher on YouTube, and she was using pastels, so a slightly different uh, sort of technique. Because with pastels you can go from dark to light, and with coloured pencils you go from light to dark. So she laid in all the shadows first, and then sort of went in with her colours on top, and she made this bird look absolutely amazing, even without lots of detail in it. She just made this. I think the colours helped. Trying to think of her name. Oh, I can't remember. But I think this is such a good bird for people to draw if they're not used to drawing birds, because it's got this it's petite, it's got this compact little body. The feathers don't normally sort of stand out. It's normally quite smooth and sleek. It allows people to play with colour. I think it's a good little birdie. Hang on. When the night falls. Let me sharpen this. The babies. So I'm just sort of layering up all the feathers in these different colours, because then I can bring in that the scratch tool and get some of those finer lines in to get the feather effect. It doesn't always just have to be for fur. think I need to put in this longer shadow. I think if I just map that in. It's about here, isn't it? I'm just going to put it in faintly, just in case I go wrong. It comes down to about here, doesn't it? And then where's my... Let's get rid of that. Right, so I have this big feather here, so it comes into this line. Okay. Just helps me visualize it a bit more. How's the snake going? Oh yeah. Let me show that. I was just trying out this new paper, so it's not doing too badly. It's this paper's got a rougher tooth to it, so this paper that we're working on is it feels quite smooth to the touch, and this Fabriano Artistico has got a rougher tooth to it. So when you're putting down the colours, it requires a lot more layers because you can still see like the grain. I don't know if you can see in that piece there, you can just see the grain of the paper still. Thanks, Faisal. Yeah, I'm very highly critical of my own work, so I can still see the tooth of the paper, but because I want to get the shine of the snake, because the snake looks quite glossy in the reference picture, I need to add a few more layers just to sort of get it there, because this paper that we're working on doesn't require as many layers, whereas this one seems to require almost double. But yeah, I did that yesterday. That took me about an hour. So yeah, very pleased with the snakes. I'm hoping to sort of get this finished. It's just a small piece, but yeah, I'll work on that a bit more today. Let me just erase some of these pencil marks. But yeah, it's interesting to see what the different papers require. I didn't think that there was going to be that big a difference between them, but there really was. I noticed it almost instantly. And at first I wasn't sure if I liked it, the paper that is, not the drawing, the paper. But then as I got more and more layers down and I realised the depth of colour that I could get to it, I could see how it was going to be a good paper. So I'm just going to do these bigger feathers down here that are tucked up underneath these more, what's the word, fluffier fluffier feathers. These are very smooth feathers down here, very flat. On my mind, I'm still standing. Feeling like a little kid. Right, now there is sort of like what colour is that shadow? Shadow that comes down it. Quite a stark line there. I wanna have fun. It's a very smooth line to this shadow. I want it to stand out. That's better. I was doing like the straight strokes as I've done for the other feathers, and it wasn't giving me that smooth finish that I wanted, so I've changed it over the top to like little small circular strokes, and that just seems to fill the paper better and gives a smoother look to it. It's the same sort of technique that I'd use in an eye. They wanna have fun. Right, so there is still a little darkish patch here. I'm also sort of trying to keep in mind that down the centre of the feather is what we would call the quill part, and as it comes down to the point here, it's very, very thin, but it's still present and it sort of shows in the feather. I'm just trying to be mindful of that. So I need, oops, whoops, throwing everything everywhere. Oh, I wonder if that's my mattress arriving. Mango started barking. We'll know for sure if Rosie starts up. Sometimes I feel I've got to run away. I've got to get away to the heart of me. Right. Yeah, that's my mattress arriving. I've dragged Jared and Jack out of bed to go and deal with it. Because I said I'll be streaming when it arrives. And I can't wake James because he's up all ruddy night, so Papa J Forms has gone off to visit his parents. So Jared and Jack it's got to be. Right, now if I use my sepia, quill comes up here. Really goes into this faint bit at the end. There's an artist that I follow on Instagram, and I'd have to look up her name. Hang on. Let me just look up her name because she's really good at drawing birds. Where is she? Sally Edmonds Art. And she, if you look her up on Insta, Sally Edmonds Art, she does the most amazing bird portraits. She does a lot of the, you know, parrots and sort of macaws, parakeet, all the lovely, amazing birds that you have over in Australia. 'Cause that's where she's based. I think she's based in Perth. I could have that wrong. But you really need to sort of go and, if you're interested in bird art and people who draw birds as their specialism, then she's a really good artist to look at. Every time she posts something, I'm like, oh my god. Right, I need a sort of just slightly darker blue. Let's put that away. So I've put those blues and greens underneath this dark sepia, and then hopefully that will carry the colour into the dark shadow that I'm about to try and cast. And just a little bit of the black on top. Just going to try and blend that out just a little bit. Just got a slight shadow either side of it. Okay, so now I need the greeny blue. Into that green. And I'll use this blue to sort of blend everything together because it's quite a light blue. And that should help with the blending of the colours. Okay. That took a lot of work, that one feather, but I think it's worth it just to get the positioning in. Right, so the one above it comes round here. Let me just get rid of the pencil marks. Okay. This starts about very light blue as a base. Okay, right. There's a really lovely bit here that I'm looking forward to doing. It's really, you can see that really bright blue streak down the centre of the bird. I think that'll be fun to try and do that. It's almost quite reflective and metallic in its tone. Right, I'm just going to use that circular motion again just to sort of blend all the pigment into the paper without there being any tooth showing underneath. Blending, blending, blending. I had my revisions come back in yesterday from the last book that I sent in to my editor. So I sent in the full manuscript just before the end of June, and she got back to me today with her revision letter. It doesn't require too many changes, thankfully, but I shall be working on that as well for the rest of the day. Yeah, new book. There is a slight shadow that leaves a very faint blue line there. What type of books do I write? Can we get a hint? um, yeah, it's fiction. I write romance books, but I can't tell you my pseudonym or what the books are called because in the author bio on the inside it says where I live, and it would also give a hint to our names. So so this bit of quill comes down at a slightly different angle. Read it to you on stream. No, I don't think so. I might stick a couple of my short stories into Discord or something. Um, as a complete change of pace, I write horror short stories, and I've had quite a few of those published as well. I like horror. I like writing scary stuff. it sort of almost leeches into some of the romance stuff actually, because if there's like a scene or an accident or something like that, I tend to go in with the details. And I've had my editor tell me to tone down the blood and the gore. I just can't help it. Yeah, yeah, Jamie wearing a dress could be a horror story. Perhaps he could be like a killer that goes around in his grandmother's dress. I'll have a little look through my files and decide which one I want to share with you. Not everybody likes horror and yeah. I always wanted to be known as a sort of um, horror sort of or dark fantasy sort of writer. I always thought that was where my niche was, but somehow I ended up writing romance, and that is just the genre that just seemed to sort of take off for me. So when I say take off, I don't mean in like uh, J.K. Rowling levels. Absolutely no way. I mean, I wish. I think that's what every writer would wish for, but unfortunately, we don't get that. There's just a little bit of mackerel patterning in this feather. Ever so slight, but it's there. Wait for you. Sunlight. The sound of kids on the street outside. Yeah, romance can be scary sometimes. There's I don't know if you've heard of it, but there is a Bad Romance Awards every year, and people who have written like sex scenes and things like that, and they've done it in a really, really bad way. And there are awards for who writes the worst, and some of them are cringeworthy, absolutely cringeworthy, and hilarious to read sometimes. It's like someone really thought that that was a good way to write a romantic scene, or or an intimate scene. Some of the euphemisms that get used. Anymore. And no, I've not been up for any of those awards. Really Bad Sex Scene is the name of my sex tape. Well, you go for it, Jay. I mean, obviously, include sometimes, depending on whether the story demanded it, a sex scene. And I always used to be really worried about writing them because I just think, oh God, what if my kids read them? But now I'm just like, it's a book. It's not real. I'm not afraid anymore. I always start writing scripts but never finish them, cannot get past the first draft. Oh, that's interesting. What sort of, like film scripts or TV scripts? Just going to dull that down just a little bit. Both. All right. Oh, okay. Well, they do take a lot of an awful lot of work, don't they? So, do you use Scrivener to write yours? Because they have a template in Scrivener that allows you to do, well, to write screenplays and scripts and stuff like that, so you don't have to do all that formatting on the page. It's all done for you. I use Scrivener to, if I create like a comic script or something, because again it does the formatting for you, so you don't have to faff about with all of that. So you just got to concentrate on the words and the descriptions and the directions and stuff. Right, this really has a sort of dark blue tone to this edge here. Does anyone else do any writing? You mostly use a notebook and pen, but I put it online when I'm fully happy with it. You use Celt X. I've never heard of Celt X. I'll have to look that up. Right, need this blue line in here. That's better. Right, now I've got that one above it, I can really sort of darken this line here. Just to give that impression of shadow for the wing underneath, feather underneath it. That one just goes to there. Let's just have a faint line around it. I think if I put in this I try writing with a notebook and pen, but I just get ache in my hand. I'm much better if I just go straight to the keyboard. Just getting in these shadows here. There is a quill that goes down there like that. Right, okay, so this bit that goes up here, where do I want everything to go? This comes up here. Let me just map it in. Comes around like that, doesn't it? This bit's green, this bit's all blue. Okay. Okay. Sorry, chat. I'm talk to myself sometimes when I'm just sort of mapping things out in my head, just so I know. It's always the way we get the best conversations, isn't it, when you talk to yourself? My older brother always used to say, it's the only way I can get an intelligent conversation is to talk to myself. Because he's kind like that. Right, okay, so it's going to map in this large section here. Get the colour down and then add in details last. It all goes in this one direction, doesn't it? That comes down. That goes in that direction. It goes in that direction, and this goes slightly off to the side. Oh gosh, I think it's because I think fast. I forget faster. So the time I log in online, I forget. Plus, it's normally in the middle of the night. I wake up randomly with a joke and try and scribble it in my notebook in the dark when I'm working it, and I ain't got Scooby what it means. Oh, been there. You wake up, you write something down, you think, I know what that will mean in the morning, but because you've just come out of a dream state, usually, you wake up in the morning and it will say something like, I don't know, fish finger on dog or something. You think, what the hell does that mean? And you haven't got a Scooby, like you say. You've written some you can write some really crazy random stuff in the middle that if you don't put the light on and you just think, yeah, I know what I'm writing. I know what that will mean when I wake up in the morning because it's so clear to me right now. I'll remember that. So, yeah, I used to do that, Jamie. I would wake up and make notes, and now I don't do that anymore because my notes have never ever made sense to me in the morning. And then it just makes me cross because I can't remember what it meant because I think, well, if I wrote it down, it must have been really good for me to have written it down that I don't want to forget it. So you wake up, you've got no sense of what that is, and then I just get angry with myself, and that sort of stops the creative process because I'm so frustrated and angry with it. So I've stopped writing notes in the middle of the night. Writers in the world will agree or unite in your pain. No, no, don't you forget about me. I suppose I ought to just take away these pencil marks up here, actually. Even though they will be dark lines there. I try and take away as much of the graphite as I can, because sometimes it will shine through the coloured pencil, and then it's really annoying because you have like this shine underneath the coloured pencil that shows through, and it can sometimes, well, it draws my eye in a bit of art anyway. It's annoying because I remember thinking it was good, you just don't remember what it is exactly. So do you go for comedic scripts then? Because you mentioned you randomly think of a joke. So you're going for like comedy, like sitcoms, that sort of thing. I'll happily read it. If you've got one you want to send, I'll happily read it. I used to work as a freelance proofreader as well. I would proofread books for publishing houses and things, and there's a guy who lives quite close to me, and sometimes he'll send me his scripts just to proofread before he sends them off to TV production companies. Right. You try to love a good sitcom. Right, okay, so I think that's the base layers that we've got down in there, and that's just going to have to wait until, yeah, wait until tomorrow before we finish that section off. But there we go. I feel like I've not really got much done today. I mean, what, we did this bit up here and these bit. Well, yeah, I suppose that's all right for an hour. Okay, so all right, that's where we will leave our Kingfisher for this week. Tomorrow is Friday, and we will be back for our 2 hour stream tomorrow with our ornamental goldfish, Mr. Chips. And yeah, I will. Yep, tomorrow is the 2 hour stream. So I will see you then. Have a great day. Yeah, it's my birthday. Yeah, have a great day, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. You really are great company every morning as I'm drawing, and I really truly appreciate having you guys here. So thanks very much. Have a lovely day, everybody. Love to you all, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, have a good day. Bye.